Warramiriga, Budra and Awunya, Yuguna, Awabakal Ngurua. Hello friend, good to see you today. I'm on Awabakal country, and well, as you can see, the camper's kind of been demolished. You see, when I first got it, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it. I wasn't sure if I wanted to rip the top off it and just leave it as a trailer that you can see to me right here and build that out with a false floor and water tanks and all this sort of thing, or if I wanted to leave it as a camper. Well, I've made my decision. I'm keeping it as a camper, because after the few trips we've done in it, this thing is brilliant. I absolutely love it. Tow's great, really nice and comfortable for a couple of nights with the annex on, especially in winter. It's brilliant with a little potbelly stove inside the annex and that. Absolutely loving it. Mrs. loves it too. She's just still having a few issues getting in and out with the back step. I need to get a better step for her. But I thought, you know, while I've got a bit of time and some decent weather, let's get started on giving it a makeover. So the first job obviously is getting the top off of it. You can see here, there's actually a bit of a rip. That will be getting fixed up soon. Kieran welded the spare wheel carrier on there for me. He was talking about making another bracket like this so that I can actually carry two wheels, because this is adjustable, can be moved side to side. So he was talking about doing another one so I can carry two wheels on here. So far, I haven't seen that, so I don't know. I know he's been very busy with work. So yeah. Obviously, the canopy's off, the cupboard's out of it, and I've pulled the carpet out. Now I'm just going through taking out all these little hooks. And then the next job will be to get ready to strip it. I've got some paint stripper already in the garage, so take all the paint off of it, take it back to bare metal. I've already got some primer, I've got some rust converter, and some bloody big heavy wire wheels and that, so I'm going to go through, try and get rid of all the rust. What I can't get rid of, I'm going to hit with the rust converter, then prime it, and then get ready to paint it again, and then start putting it back together. Alright, let me stop rambling, and let's get into it. Well, I've got to say, I'm actually really surprised. This is the first time I've been able to have a solid look underneath this trailer. And yeah, some corrosion points. That's typical for dissimilar metals. So they'll be stainless or galvanised bolts, and this will just be hard, heavy duty steel that won't be galvanised. The frame there almost looks like it could have been galvanised, because even though there is some rust in it, for a 30-plus-year-old trailer, that's looking really bloody good. Now you got to remember, these trailers were made in the 1990s, so this is a 30-plus-year-old trailer. And then the floor, it's rough, but that's the texture. I don't think that's just painted over rust. I'm not too sure on that, but that looks really good as well. So I'm wondering whether or not I bother doing much under here. Like I am going to do it in the Black Raptor, but I don't think I need to worry about the entire floor. Maybe just more so sand all these back, get all the rust off these, and then just paint that. Same deal inside the wheel guards. You know, they're not even half as bad as I bloody thought they were, really. And then in where I want to put the water tank, there are a few holes. I drilled these ones on the corners when it was filling up, but there's a couple of others that you can see have come through. Two more from the corners from me. They will be removed, and I'll be actually putting some vents in there so that will allow some airflow under there. The vents will be facing backwards, so that if water does leak or whatever in there, it will flow backwards out of it, and I won't scoop it up if I'm going through a puddle or something. Get him to weld up the holes for the number plate mounts, and I'll redo them, make them fresh. We'll get someone to anyway. Obviously I've got to get the rust out of there. That will require painting. These mud flaps, I might keep the flaps, but I'm getting rid of the shitty alloy crap around them. But otherwise that is looking really surprisingly good. Like the springs are typical for rust. And I can hit them back and grind them back. So is the axle. I can do the same thing with that. Although the axle needs to be replaced anyway because it's not long enough for me. That's surprisingly bloody good. Now I'm going to wait for a while. I've got Pete Doyle coming over a little bit later when he gets a chance, and him and I are going to sit down and discuss a few things and work out a few things. Kieran welded this on for me because I noticed rust coming in through there, so that obviously needs to be touched up and painted. Yeah, I'm actually a little bit surprised. I'm thinking it might be better and easier than I initially thought. So we've just found some more rust that we weren't quite expecting. So Pete's trying to cut that out and we're going to replate that. I've just been down to BJ Howe's Metal Land at Charmy and I've bought some aluminium angle, some steel angle. And what we're going to do is actually enclose the bottom of this box. It looks like we're going to remake the whole thing because as you can see there's a shitload of rust in that. And I do have a sheet of steel here which is about the same thickness. So we're just going to look at remaking the entire box and probably be the easiest way to do it. Alrighty, so I'm over at Pete's again. This should be the last day over here, at least until it's all painted and I've got the cage back on. As you just saw, Pete's cut out 2 of these smaller pieces here, and they are for the side of the box there that will be holding the water tank, and yeah, however else I decide to do that. I have been trying to keep rain off of it. Been trying to keep rain off because I've stripped the paint out and hit it with a rust killer. It will rust quickly, but we had over 100 mil of rain within the last couple of days. I think it was about 150 mil all up or something, so there was no way in hell we were going to stop water getting to it, even with the tarp over it. So yeah, unfortunately that's where it's at. But that bit of rust has got to be cleaned up again anyway. I've still got to strip paint off and everything on this side, so yeah, I'll hit it all once I get it back home. Alrighty, so as you can see, I'm back home. The trailer's back home from Pete's. The well's held in really nicely, travelling home, no issues. I have found that the hatch is a little bit stiff at the moment. Maybe I need some WD or something on the hinges, but that should settle down. At the moment, I'm about to go and cut the holes in the floor for the vents that I want to put in. Now, as I mentioned, I've got a couple of these little stainless steel vents, and I'm going to put them underneath the floor so that when water comes through, it runs off. But the way I plan to put them, not that it's going to be easy to show, is so this part will be the front and this will be the back. So as water, if I go through a puddle or water crossing or something, water will push up and over the vents, but as water's draining out of it, it will push down and out the back. So that's the plan. I'm going to just put a couple of probably 10-12 mil holes or something through the bottom of it as well, just to make sure that there's no water going to build up in there. So yeah, hopefully today I can get this cut out, I can get these vents mounted in, I can get all the rust work and everything done and paint work done. If that's the case, I might be able to wash it, dry it off, and then hit it with another coat of rust converter. If I can get all that done, tomorrow I should be able to prime. So fingers crossed I get it all done. Let's go. Alrighty, there it all is. It's all hit with rust converter. So it's all been washed down, dried, cleaned up, hit with rust converter, ready to go back in the garage. Hopefully, if the rain holds off tomorrow, I can start on the priming it. Yeah, start priming, and then maybe by the end of the week get into the paint if the rain holds off. But it is forecast again for tomorrow, so we don't know what's going to happen. I did notice when I flipped it back over, I busted a weld on one of the hinges there. I've asked Pete if he might be able to drop back over tomorrow and we hopefully fix that back up. But otherwise, yeah, she's pretty well ready for paint.
1 week later.
Finally been able to get some primer onto it. I haven't finished the drawbar and the top section yet because simply I can't reach that. So I'll wait for this to dry out, get the wheels back on it, lower it down, and then I can do the drawbar and the bloody spare wheel carrier. Get everything done, drawbar's all done, except for the well. You can see there, inside of the tailgate, back of the tailgate and the bottom at the back there. Everything's done. And I've run out of etch primer. Oh, and this section of the guard. I've run out of etch primer. And I've run out of thinners. I really thought I'd have enough. Damn it! Well, there we go. She's sprayed. The Raptor's still a bit wet, but that's why I've taken the tape off now so it doesn't try and peel it later. Yeah, she's all sprayed black and green. As you can see, the tailgate's still green, but the tank at the bottom is black. Yeah, I've done the tail light sections black, the steps black, things like that. I think it looks pretty good. When I can finally get the green rims on it, I reckon that'll just complement it that little bit more. That looks pretty sick. Cage is over there, so that will be going on soon. But yeah, very happy. Well, it's not perfect. Obviously, I'm no professional spray painter. You can see there's a couple of sections where it's masked and hasn't quite worked out right. I think there's been a couple of little spots where there's been some paint peel. There's another spot around there somewhere too, I think, where it comes through a bit. See a little bit coming through there. The tail light there. So yeah, it's not perfect, but I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm cheering. I reckon it actually looks really good in the black and green. Alright guys, well that's it for this episode. Honestly, I started this, I don't remember an exact date, but I'll put it on screen when I did the first bit of filming. But it would have been about mid-March, early to mid-March I started this, and it's now the end of May. So yeah, to get this far, it's taken me too bloody long. But in that time I've had a broken toe, I busted my knuckle in my hand. We've had shitloads of rain, as you guys know. We've had massive floods on the mid-north coast and Hunter and Central Coast area. There's been that much rain and floods and shit like that. So yeah, there's been a lot of things getting in my way to get this damn thing finished, that's for sure. But look, the trailer itself's done. Obviously the canopy cage part has been painted. I've had the canvas cover repaired. There was a hole in it. I've had that repaired. However, I'd like to replace it, but I just can't afford to do that at the moment. But see what happens in the near future. So next job is to start building out the inside, doing cupboards and 12 volt and all that sort of stuff. That's the next mission, and probably later today or tomorrow I'll put that back on. So to continue watching the rest of this build, guys, make sure you subscribe. Hit the little bell next to it as well to get notifications when videos come up. So yeah, if you've liked it, remember to leave a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Yama Buji Murugu, walk a good path. Yano, goodbye.